This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out. Hello, I pick up the phone.
Fellow
Where
Schweg, what is up?
could
Welcome to
I be?
Episode.
Believe it or not, I'm not home.
Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. What's going on, everyone? How's it going today? It's been a day for me. I've been tired a lot. Just fucking doing the usual thing. You know, I feel like I've been doing like maintenance on like every single guitar I own, which I don't have a lot, but I've seen like every one of them like has something I can work on. I think the bass is like the one that's good to go, which I play a lot of bass gigs, you know, to make money. And so I think that, you know, that's always a good thing. That one's pretty good to go. But I'm always like questioning. This is like very boring for people who are not into guitar shit. But like my action on all my guitars is always wrong or bad or something like that. I don't know why I have that weird feeling. So if you don't know what action is, you're not a guitar player. Basically, what action is on the guitar is basically if you hold a guitar in your hand, basically, and you feel how much area or how much area between like the strings and like the neck, you know, you should know what the neck is. Like you press down on, like, you know, you have to press down on the string to get it to make a noise. It's like how much effort and like how tall is it and how much like, you know, effort you're gonna have to put in to push it down. So a lot of people like very low action because it's very, it's very easy. Which I would love to get all beginners to kind of have like an action, or maybe every guitar player has like a preference on it. I generally like a low action on a guitar. I prefer low action, but I don't mind it a little bit higher too. You know, like there's like a comfortable. I don't mind it being too low to the fretboard either. You know, I just like there's like a sweet spot for me, and that's just me specifically me. And I'm talking about it, but I feel like I've been like working on all my guitars like non-stop. This past week, honestly, since the beginning of the year, because I had to like figure out wiring issues on one of them, and then the other one then I have another guitar, which is like my project right now, which is basically taking a guitar I got for $100 and turning it into my next signature model, which, you know, signature models are for people like John Mayer. Even like Tom DeLonge has signature guitars. I'm like, why do I need one? I don't know, but I want one. And basically, I'm getting to the point where I can. I just gotta, and I also like have like a million songs I'm trying to finish too. So that is just basically a nightmare. I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. So that's just another thing too. But anyways, though, welcome to Cancel Schweezy, folks. For those of you still here, didn't click off in the first 2 minutes. Assuming you 2 minutes, 3 minutes, assuming you did not fast forward through our first ad, Novilla Mattresses. I know how the ads go. I'm a producer on this show too. I'm also the star. which you can be a producer. You should be a producer on your own stuff. Like, you know, if it's like a project for that person, like they should be a producer. And if you put executive, we all know what executive producing is too. Like, you know, we're giving you all the credit. And it's like an executive producer could be doing a lot of fucking work. Then at the same time, it's not. Like, I think Stan Lee was like a executive producer and on like a lot of old Marvel shit, you know? Like, if you watch anything from like the 2000s, I recently watched the Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, because I was told it was the best, probably the best animated iteration of Spider-Man. I'm like, but I was a big 90s kid fan. I love that 90s show. But then I watched the show. I'm like, this show's a lot better. And Uncle Ben was played by...
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
That's right, Ed Asner. Ed Asner played Uncle Ben. Rest in peace, Ed Asner. And rest in peace, the other guy who reminds me of Ed Asner, who says stuff like...
That's my hole. That's where it spits.
Really want to think about you, too. But anyways, though, welcome to Cancel Schweezy, the only podcast that shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, and twat. I fucked your mom. You know, I've been thinking about that. So the Super Bowl, so I recorded it on Monday, it comes out Wednesday. So the previous Sunday from when this episode was made was Super Bowl Sunday. And that's why last week I probably should have done like a football-themed episode. I forgot, I don't keep up with football. Like, in the fact that I don't live far from the Kansas City Chiefs should get me excited to root for them, but I could not give any fucks about them. Honestly, I was more curious about what, like, trailers Marvel Studios was going to drop. And also, the Flashpoint trailer was fucking insane. I'm like, Flashpoint, like, I've read the actual story, Flashpoint. And if you don't want to read it, if you have HBO Max or Home Box Office Maximum, you can log onto your account and you can watch like Flashpoint. It's like an animated movie, but apparently it's shot for shot, almost like the exact same comedy. But anyways, though, it's like basically the Flash goes back in time to save his mom. He comes back to the future, and things were fucked up. Anyways, though, the movie's coming out soon. But yeah, the Flash trailer. I think it's gonna be a solid goodbye to all the Snyderverse fans, you know, which, you know, I like those movies. And I think Batman v Superman is better than people make it out to be. And you should also make sure you watch the Ultimate version. If you watch the Ultimate version, because the whole idea is like things are kind of confusing going into it. Like, what's going on? Why does Batman want to take down Superman? Superman's, wanting to take down Batman, and then the whole thing is like triggered by Lex Luthor. So I think the Ultimate Edition is the best one. But also Guardians of the Galaxy trailer looks good too, but it kind of seems like the Guardians trailer is very separated from the rest of the Marvel universe. More separated than I think Moon Knight is, just because it just seems like a lot of those people are James Gunn loyalists and are like, this is definitely my last Marvel film. Dave Bautista, he's like, I can't get in the way, but then he's going to move over to DC, play some fucking character. Yeah, it's funny. But anyways, though, the reason why this podcast is the shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, and twat, I fucked your mom, is because I heard, aka I saw someone on TikTok, it was just like a joke fucking thing, but it was like Blink-182 at the Super Bowl halftime show. And they start with shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, farts, turd, and twat. I fucked your mom. They start off with fucking family reunion. And then, they do some Blink songs. And then I started thinking after that, Blink-182 at the Super Bowl. Who's gonna, they always add other artists to the Super Bowl too. So then I thought, okay, so Machine Gun Kelly's probably going to come out. Like, obviously, Machine Gun Kelly's going to be at the Super Bowl, and everyone's going to be mad about that. But everyone already hates, the halftime Super Bowl performance anyways. So why are people, if you hate it, why are you... It's like, you hate something, but you watch it, It's like, I've just learned, when I watch a show, I'm like, this show sucks. But then also I'm like, I'm also invested in the characters. Start getting invested in characters, people. That's how you grow up. But I know. So I was thinking Machine Gun Kelly. I was trying to think of who else. I mean, if considering that we're now in the era where Tom is now back in the band, if it was Matt Skiba playing the Super Bowl, it'd be super fucking weird. I don't know. Just that, I don't know. Just, even then, like the Matt Skiba days of Blink, I like California, I like Nine, but it's like it's a collaboration between the bassist and drummer from Blink-182 and the singer in Alkaline Trio. It's just it's kind of like that. So, it's weird. But anyways, no, I guess they could get Matt Skiba to come back. He sings one song. So maybe make it like Alkaline Trio, combining. They could do one Matt Skiba ones. Dark Side's one of the more like Matt Skiba focused songs. They could play California too. Save your breath. I think that's Matt Skiba. The problem with the Matt Skiba days is sometimes it's hard because Matt Skiba has a normal voice. Like, it's just a normal, great singing voice. And then you have Tom DeLonge and Mark Hoppus hopping on drastically. Mark is very, like, monotone, low singing. Tom's, like, more high, but, like, enunciation's weird. Like, he's just from California. Like, California accent, Tom DeLonge. Like, that's the accent. So I can see that. So it'd be Alkaline Trio, Blink-182, and then Machine Gun Kelly would have to come out. Maybe Machine Gun Kelly doing one of his songs he did with fucking Lil Wayne. That'd be the fucking Super Bowl halftime show to end all Super Bowl halftime shows. I am wearing my referee shirt today for the podcast, and I think like I said, it was because last week I should have made a football episode. This week I should have just kept it Valentines, but regardless, though, we're here now. This is,
This is the type of guy you get.
For the most part. But, the Superb Owl, which everyone was tweeting yesterday, Superb Owl, everyone, people were talking about, like, the referees were on the Chiefs side. I'm like, I didn't watch the game, so I can't really tell you there. But what in your mind makes you want to go, like, I want to be a referee, or I guess you're watching sports, like calling a shot. I'm like, I could have called that shot. And like, that should be me. Like when musicians, it's like, I saw a meme. It was like the football player who goes to a football game. It's like a guy in like his football costume, out on stage. And then it's like a musician at a concert and stuff like that. So yeah, you're like a referee. We're going back to the referee nonsense. And with the referee, Tim was like, you know what? I really just want a lot of people to hate me. I just want people to just fucking, when they see me, just disgust runs through their bodies. That's why I've decided to become a referee. I'm like, there's probably some referees out there who will tell me why they like doing it. But at the same time, like, why, you're referee? You're like, I don't know, I feel like you should be loyal. And I think the whole idea of like football teams is like you're loyal to this specific area of existence. And that's why your football team from that area is your favorite, and there's the reasoning for that. But then you're just like a referee and you have to stay neutral as a referee. You're like, I just want everyone to hate me. It's like a fetish. It's like a fetish of like, I want everyone in this world to hate me. And that's just science right there. I want everyone to hate me. That's what the fuck referees are, for the most part. Like I should say, follow my music. It's where you stream music at. I was told you shouldn't say every streaming service. Just like you stream music. You're like, I'm on this random one. I'm going to try to be there. Tell me if I'm not there. Also check me out on social media. The social medias. I'm on all of them. And if I'm active is the question at TheSchweezy. I've made it simple everywhere. I was the Foreplay King on TikTok, but I changed it to TheSchweezy because I want to make things simple for everyone.
I like that.
And shit like that. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Last week I played Game Boy games. I'm not sure what I'm going to do this week or if I'll stream this week. I'll probably stream this week, but then I'm trying to figure out what to do, with the Twitch streams. Go check it out every Thursday. I think 8 p.m. Central Time, but it's a little earlier, later. Like the adult diapers, it depends. So, Look at that. But if you have an Amazon Prime account connected to your Twitch account, you get a Twitch Prime. Typically, to subscribe to someone on Twitch is $5, but with that, you get one free, and why not help out Daddy Schweezy?
I like that.
We also have our Patreon page you can donate to, which is really cool. It's basically just a tip jar this moment, and make sure you do all the free shit. If you're on an audio platform, make sure you go check out our YouTube page. We are really trying to build up that YouTube page, folks. Audio stats are good. You know, it's always like, put in more, and I think the audio side's, you know, more. It's always just like, it's good, but you know, we always want more growth. But we need to help infiltrate the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you subscribe to the show and like the episodes and highlights over on there. Share the highlights with your friends because that way you don't have to send out a random ass time marker for something I talk about and in an episode.
That's rough, buddy.
And yeah, leave a review or give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating. So yeah.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
I've been thinking a lot. I wrote a lot of notes down for the beginning of the show. Been thinking a lot about the Ratatouille situation. What Ratatouille situation? I realize there's a lot of Ratatouille situations. Me right now talking about it. It's the situation. Here's the situation I've been thinking about. It's this idea of like, all right, you pretend like you're talking to like one of your friends, you know, and it's like an ultimate, you know, it's like a, you know, you're doing a would you do this type of situation, you know, like, or would you, you know, it's kind of like a would you rather, but like, would you do this? All right. So I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have the best meal of your entire life. You're never going to have a meal as good as this one unless you go to this place. It brings back childhood memories. It like heals your soul, kind of. Like it does healing to your soul when you eat at this restaurant. When you go and eat here, you're like, all right, yeah, I'll eat here. What's the catch? The catch is it's all cooked by a rat. And that's the moment I think. I'm like, all right. Because the first thing I think about the COVID vaccine, you know, for those of us alive during the pandemic. I don't know what fucking 2-year-olds will listen to the show. But for those of you, think about it. What was I saying? It's like, okay, fuck, god damn it, I forgot my train of thought. Thought about, it was Ratatouille, and your train of thoughts is, oh, no, we'll go back to train of thoughts, because I'm like, all right, what information do we know about the rat? And you're like, well, oh, no, why I brought up COVID was because that, you know, I got my vaccine, okay, so for those of you who don't remember, right after Joe Biden got elected president, basically all the votes came in and I was like, Joe Biden, everyone wanted Joe Biden to be president. It was like a day or two after that, they were like, we found a COVID vaccine.
What?
And because everyone's like, they found it the day after Trump got killed for president or whatever. Anyways, though, so like, how that happened is basically the FDA, it was like an emergency type of thing, where like they have proof it works and whatever, but it hasn't really been approved by the FDA. So it's like basically just like, yeah, this basically is good. We don't have any reason not to, but the FDA still has to do like a big review on it or whatever. And so basically, if you got like a vaccine early on, it was pretty much like, you're still taking a chance with this. I got mine like, so April 2021 versus November 2020. That's how long it took for me. And I was like, well, you know, millions of people have gotten already. And parents both got it. That's like my 2 DNA factors, you know, right there. And, you know, they were fine. So I was like, you know what? Given the chances, you know, after that, I'm like, I'm good. So that's why I think about Ratatouille, which I went on way too long of a rant, about why Ratatouille I would eat at that restaurant, because I'm like, I guess a lot of other people eat there too, and they're not sick. So like, if the chefs are rat, I don't think that's really the worst part of the scenario. So that's what I thought there. Anyways, and like that. I also want to say Valentine's Day. A lot of people are like, fuck Valentine's Day, fuck your love. I'm like, first of all, I'm going to try to do the meme right. No bitches. I'm gonna meme that. I'm gonna make sure I meme that. So it's like no bitches, but also like I'm at a point where I'm like I don't let relationships define who I am as a person. So I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'd rather date no one than someone I hate. So shit like that. So that's Valentine's Day. So because this is the Valentine's Day episode, we're gonna get more into Valentine's Day, but we have to get into a previous week right now. What is previous week right now? You may be asking. It's just fucking last week right now. Shut the fuck up.
What?
This is the type of guy you get.
I identify as a fucking...
There we got it eventually. Basically, with how we're set up right now, I'm just going to go, as Philip Franco would say.
Let's just jump into it.
This is from France24. No clue what that website is. Amsterdam bans cannabis on red light district streets. Amsterdam city authorities said Friday they are banning cannabis smoking in the streets of the red light district from mid-May as part of efforts to curb criminality and antisocial behavior. The measure comes amid wider efforts to restrict drinking hours and bring forward closing times of cafes, bars, restaurants, and brothels as the municipality cracks down on huge antisocial behavior problems. Prostitution is illegal in the Netherlands, and Amsterdam City's central brothels rank as the tourist attraction. But rising urban crime in part of town, which is a magnet for youthful night owls, has for some years led police to label the area a square kilometer of misery. Under Dutch law, the sale of cannabis is tolerated in coffee shops as long as they abide by strict conditions, but it is an offense to possess, sell, or produce more than 5 grams of the drug. Residents are very upset at mass tourism and abuse of alcohol and drugs in the street, particularly at night. A municipality statement explains, tourists equally attract street dealers, which leads to criminality and insecurity, the statement added. If the latest restrictions fail to have the desired effect, authorities warn they will extend them to coffee shop terraces. I don't know, this is just like really funny to me.
I like that.
So basically, I'm staying in Missouri right now. Weed just became legal in Missouri. Like, it became legal in December. And it was like, yeah, weed's legal. But then also, for dispensaries already open, because basically, I'll tell you this, medical was fine for a minute, and then now they legalized it for like recreational use. And so like there was a 2-month waiting period because like all like license or whatever had to be, approved and shit like that. Basically, I've been told it's like a liquor license, It's like, yeah, just because it's like, oh, alcohol became legal in your state. We got to update someone's liquor license. It's very dumb fucking shit like that, So now weed's legal in Missouri, and I'm like figuring out the laws and spoken more. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we're enough minutes into the episode. I'm gonna have to tone back that shit because I'm like sleeping way too much. And I'll tell you, you shouldn't be sleeping all day, folks. That's called depression, and you shouldn't have depression from drugs. But like Amsterdam, like for the kids, probably don't get it. But like I don't know. I think we're getting to a point now. It's like Amsterdam was the place. Like you travel to Amsterdam, to do weed, as I would say, to do weed. And it's, and now they're like, we want to cut back on that shit. And it's like, they're very lax drug rules. And I think they're just now at a point where like, we can't fucking take this shit anymore. It's killing us. So it's probably Amsterdam's just going to become a normal place very soon. It's like that. Yeah, it's like, it was weird because I went to an actual, this is fucking the most juvenile shit you'll ever hear. So, or just the nonsense you'll hear from me. It's a Pajitsky effect, I will call it that. This is a Pajitsky effect. So, basically, I'm not like a long time weed smoker, but I've been going to dispensaries since it's became legal in my state. Basically, I'll go in, and I was thinking, like, I need to get a vape. But then you're like, you have to research everything you need for a vape. And you're like, okay, you need the battery, and then it's the cartridge. So you go to, the dispensary, and you look at, like, dispensaries, and you're like, oh, so you have grinders, you have, papers to roll joints and shit like that. And then you're like, what? It's always so expensive here. And then you realize, I'm like, oh, it's like they upcharge it, like liquor stores do with like mixers and stuff like that. Like Sprite is a lot cheaper at a grocery store, but at the liquor store it's gonna be a lot more. I'm like, oh, I just realized that. So yeah, I bought like a battery for a vape for like a cartridge the other day, and I'm like, I was just told to go to the smoke shop. I'm like, yeah, this is like 50% cheaper than like what you get at like smoke shop. Anyways, though, that's fun. Amsterdam, guys are doing stuff. You're doing things. Cool. All right, this is from movieguides.org, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably not a good source, but I saw this was funny, and I relieved it anyways. This is football news, so for those of you who like football, we got something for you. Kansas City Chiefs mascot wants to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
That's rough, buddy.
Dan Mears, the Kansas City Chiefs mascot, is gearing up for the Super Bowl, a job that he sees as a way to share his Christian faith. I've met so many great people, and the Lord just opened up so many opportunities for me to go out and hopefully just try to be the hands and feet of Jesus in this world. That's my goal, Mears said, reflecting on his time as a mascot. Mears began his mascot career as a student of the University of Missouri, where he was Truman the Tiger. This led to an offer to be Fred Bird, the St. Louis Cardinals mascot, followed by the opportunity to star the mascot program for Kansas City. In 2013, his time as a mascot almost cost him his life. When a stunt went wrong, Mears broke his ribs and a vertebrae, suffered a collapsed lung, and fractured his tailbone. His recovery process gave him a chance to think about his faith. The hard thing about pain is it will make you into someone you don't want to be because it makes you self-focused. And he said of that time, all you can focus on is your pain. I don't want my focus to be on me. I want my focus to be, number one, on the Lord, and number two, on those around me. During his recovery, Mears chose to focus on staying positive and being grateful for his blessing. There's a lot of joy in the Christian life, he explained. It drives me crazy when I meet Christians who walk around like they've been sucking on a lemon. I made up my mind. I didn't want to be that guy, If we want people to be attracted to our Savior, we can't go walking around like we've been sucking on a lemon. In addition to his work as a mascot, Mears also spread his faith through speaking engagements. We can use the choice we make to make an impact not only in our lives, but more importantly in the lives of others, he shared. I believe as Christians, that's what we're called to do, that God didn't put us on the earth to make a living, but us here to make an impact. So, I didn't read this article before I prepped it for this show, and I'm going to say, my first thought was, let's break down his religious beliefs. It looks like his religious beliefs came from like a very traumatic accident. It came from an accident that was probably not good for him. Like it probably did not. This was not good for him because I don't know. So I grew up in the church. I was like, I was raised that way and shit like that. And so that's where I come to question it. Like when you're raised in it and you decide to leave it, there's like leaving it, like, leave it where it's like your parents go, but you didn't really get into it, or versus me who got really into it and now has shit to say. It's like we have words to say, but then you hear people like who had like a tragic accident and then they chose God afterwards and shit like that. It's hard to talk to them. And hard to talk to them, it's like, I'm not telling you you're dumb or whatever, but like, we have, I'm not an atheist. I do want to say that. What do I believe in? I don't fucking know. That's what I'm telling you. It's like, what do you believe in? Question mark. That's, the idea of just questioning everything, that's all I can really say. But then like you get on a plane, and I don't fly a lot. So when I'm on a plane, you're like the atheism leaves your body for a second, to make it up in the air. And when it lands, when you're landing down, you're like the atheism leaves your body again. Like, let's make it safe. But I was like, let the pilot not be a Christian though, because remember Left Behind when the Christian just got vanished, he got raptured and just vanished away, The pilot, they have two pilots, wasn't it like two pilots on a plane? and they're called co-pilots. So it's like they're both doing the same job. And it's weird to say co-pilot because it sounds like it's a lesser thing. But when they're just like, we're both the pilots of this plane. One of us is going to fly it. And then one of us is going to fly it if the other person has any sort of trouble flying it. That's the rule. Shit like that. You're like, both of them were Christians? Jesus Christ. We're all dead. Anyways, though, goddamn, what's going on with my hair today? Anyways, though, I don't think I had anything good to say about that, but it's a good thing the Chiefs won. And yay, God. Yay, God, if it's not for killing gays, and hating black people. Patrick Mahomes, he's part black. He's definitely not full black, but, he's part black. And then it's weird, some racist people I know who are just like, I love football. Fucking Patrick Mahomes. My homie. I'm just like, all right, then you gotta stop saying racist shit, I don't know how to do that. Anyways, though, this shirt makes me look fat, so we're moving on. I just read it. I read the article. It's from Newsweek. We're going to say it's from Newsweek. I just read the title, and it's already got me going.
That's rough, buddy.
Wyoming limiting child marriage sparks Republican outrage.
Man proposes and God disposes.
That's true. The Wyoming Republican Party is seeking to kill a bill working its way through the state legislature, proposing to raise the state's legal marriage age to 16, arguing that putting arbitrary limits on child marriage interferes with parental rights and religious liberty. The bill, which already passed the Republican-controlled Wyoming House of Representatives on a 36-25 vote last month, proposes banning state residents from marrying anyone under the age of 16, while requiring anyone over the age of 18 seeking to get married to receive written consent from their parents under the eye of a competent witness. The debate has been a long-standing one in Wyoming. Currently, Wyoming is one of just 8 states in the country, including California, Michigan, Mississippi, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Washington, and West Virginia, with a minimum age requirement for marriage, and it currently ranks among the top 10 states in the country for child marriages, according to a 2021 study by advocacy groups Unchained at Last. Efforts to raise the age of marriage in the state have consistently stalled for years now, retired Laramie Democratic Representative Charles Pelkey sponsored legislation to raise the age of marriage to 18 only to fail with every effort. The Wyoming Republican Party, however, is urging its constituents to oppose it not because the bill is too weak, but because it's believed the bill stood to rob their constituents of constitutional rights in ways the seemingly harmless bill did not immediately make clear. To make the point, the party shared materials in a Thursday evening email to constituents containing talking points from Wyoming Family Watch, a religious lobbying group organized by a conservative pastor in the state. Among other points, the letter argued that preventing children under 16 years old from marrying denies the fundamental purpose of marriage, robbing teen parents from the ability to remain together under one roof for any children they might bear together, even though nothing in state law would prevent those children from co-parenting. Where did I leave off? Yeah, okay. Since young men and women may be physically capable of begetting and bearing children prior to the age of 16, marriage must remain open to them for the sake of those children. The post reads, the sad fact that physical maturity often does not match emotional intellectual maturity is an indictment of our modern educational system. This is a problem that should be addressed, but we should not use it as an excuse to instantiate bad law.
What?
All right, so we're talking so the talking point is fucking how old? Well, let's raise the age in which children should be allowed to get married. Didn't the United States? I was over 21 when this happened, so I didn't really know this. So you used to be able to smoke at 18, but I think it's 21 across the nation now. It's like.
That's rough, buddy.
Could you imagine, I don't know what that's gonna do, raising cigarettes to 21. I'm a big believer, it's weird because I was 18, my 18th birthday happened like a week or so before my senior year of high school. So I was 18 my entire senior year. It was weird because like one time they were like, your mom needs to sign this. I'm like, I'm a legal adult. I should technically be able to sign this myself, you know? It's whatever. It's like, good thing I was like a good Christian kid back then, you know? It's like my curfew was midnight in high school, you know? Like, you know, I'm like, I hear kids are like, my curfew was way worse than that. I'm like, my curfew was midnight. And the worst I've ever come passing that was 12:30. And usually, because I lived in the middle of nowhere, it was usually driving home a country friend, you know, and shit like that. And it's like, it's 12:30, you know. And I made it like every once in a while. I'd never had a problem with curfews. And so it's weird talking about it because my dad, he was the lightest sleeper ever. So I never like snuck out of the house, you know. Like I never did. Like he would catch me. It's like, if like I went to the kitchen in the middle of the night, like he would wake up from it. Like I don't know how he was such a light sleeper. And then stuff like that. I'm like, I even told my mom like now as like an almost 30-year-old, I'm like, I never snuck out of the house. I told her that. I'm like, I never did. And it was because dad was such a light sleeper. I'm like, you know, and I'd come home and he'd be sleeping on the couch too, like make sure I came home. I'm like, I'll be fine, you know, if it's after that or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, though, I talk about how much of a dumbass kid I was. Kids should not be, you know, I think 21's an old age for alcohol and shit like that, but it's like one of those things though, like if you turn 21, like you never have to worry about, you know, shit like that ever again. So like that. Let's keep it at 18 because you're like, I wanted to get married at 16, but I had to get married at 18 because of the law. And you know what? That's fine. You know, after you're 16, you're like, I can get married as many times as I want, you know. That's not a good excuse. Pedophilia is wrong and is bad, and I don't understand why everyone wants to date children so bad. I don't get it, but some of you do. And, you know, that's the price we pay. You know, the price you pay for nonsense, I guess.
Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with Privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Move, bitch, get out of my fucking way. It's Black History Month.
So this year for Black History Month, I wanted to go over You Season 4 Part 1. Okay. Because it's not anything to do with black people. There are two black people in this season. Marianne and some other chick who was literally just a small role, like literally a small role. You, those of you who don't know, you is fucking you. That's who you are. No, there's a show on Netflix called You. It's been on since 2018, and I fucking love that show.
What?
Basically, it's about. Basically, it's. Is it really okay? Is it technically first person? I think for the most part, it is really first person for the most part. You follow this guy named Joe. Now, he is played by Penn Badgley. He was on Gossip Girl. And he's rumored to possibly be Reed Richards. I swear to God, I don't think he's going to be Reed Richards, but I swear to God, in the 2 days before this episode posts, and then the highlight of this comes out, if Penn Badgley is not confirmed, or they confirm who Mr. Fantastic is, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. But anyways, though, no, Penn Badgley, he's fucking a terrific actor, and the fact he's very the fact that he's very handsome is honestly the worst part about how he portrays Joe Goldberg, the character he plays on the show. Joe is basically the first season kind of sums up his character. It's like he found a girl he was really interested in. And it was at his job where he works at a bookstore. And instead of letting fate figure that shit out, he put fate into his own hands and he stalked her. And some of the stalking is okay, and a lot of it was not. A lot of it was not okay. And eventually, his stalking allowed her to become boyfriend, girlfriend, and shit like that. Not to mention that she had a fuckboy she was kind of hanging out with named Benji, and Joe killed Benji. So he kills people, but you're following him as the protagonist, but he should be an antagonist, but he's the protagonist technically. So basically, first season, if you haven't seen the first season, first of all, Elizabeth Lail, I actually like Penn Badgley and Elizabeth Lail as Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm. But anyways, though, basically the first season, I'm just going to sum it up. It's been out for a while. Basically, Joe Goldberg falls in love with a girl named Beck, who's played by Elizabeth Lail. And basically, they fall in love and eventually become a relationship. But he was stalking her so much beforehand. It's pretty fucking weird. And he ended up killing her fuckboy, Benji, and her best friend, Peaches. Also in the season 2, and it's a book too. I did read the book, and by read the book I mean listen to the audiobook, and I got to the point where they were in IKEA and shit like that. So I just haven't finished it. That's really the reason I still have the audiobook. But anyways, yeah. So basically, it goes from there, and then. So basically, each season is a summed up story that could lead into another story as well. But it's so funny that because I watch the show and I'm just like, how's Joe gonna get away with it this time? I see it as a sitcom, but Joe's a terrible person. I'm like, why am I following this terrible person? And I think for me, it does have something to do with I have kind of an interest. It's not something I have I don't praise serial killers. Those are really bad people, and they should be considered as really bad people. But I'm so interested in heists and thrillers and shit like that. I love that shit where it's if I could pull a heist, I would, just for the idea of pulling a heist, not even for the monetary reward. I just want to pull a heist because I'm so interested in the idea of what went wrong, what did you do wrong, and let's say we go back and change this, what would make it work? And so I get into these serial killers, Ted Bundy. I'll give him as an example. That guy's a rascal. But anyways, what basically happened is Ted Bundy he's got at least 30 plus women killed under him. And then, and I'm like, that guy's terrible. How did you get to that number? And so that's and I don't remember any of the victims. That's the bad part. But anyways, though, you get to his numbers, and basically I learned with Ted Bundy, I'm what got him caught and everything. And the first couple times, whatever, he escaped prison once, he got caught pretty quickly. But then he escaped prison a second time. And, this is my mind. And I think, if I killed all these women and shit like that, you know what? I'm going to start a new life, and guess what? You can't be killing women anymore. Exactly. But what did fucking, not Joe from the show, fucking Ted Bundy do? He went and killed more women and did the same shit. So, you should have learned your lesson the first time you got sentenced to prison for doing that shit. You were like, hey, you can't be killing women for your sexual pleasure. And what did he do? He escaped prison and he did that same shit again and got caught. That's the thing. So I'm just so interested in that was a long story short of why am I so interested in that? I'm so interested in heists and shit like that. And so with serial killers, how did it come to an end for them? And Jeffrey Dahmer, it was just a fucking chance. It was so weird. I was just just randomly one night, the cops came to his place, looked in, and he allowed a search, and they found many human body parts. Anyways, though, but I feel like it was just yesterday. I was just talking about You season 3, that season, and I talked about it on this podcast. I think one thing is I've been doing this podcast way too long, but I still don't want to stop. But at the same time, it's didn't I just talk about season 3 and 2022 was a blur. It just slowly seems like a blur to me at this point. My dad died, so that's the reason why. And it's just oh shit, it's almost been a year, and you're the world keeps turning, regardless of what you think. So what's next in my notes? This season was actually weird. So we're season 4, and I told you about season 1. It was all about hey, this guy falls in love with a girl, and he loves her so much he has to kill her. He has to murder her. You're like that. And you're how is Joe gonna do it this time, guys? But this season, he does fall in love with a bitch. Let's just bring it up here. He does fall in love with someone. But that's not the main focus. She's not really a problem. She's not really the reason or any problem in the story. This season 4, they decided to make it a whodunit. And I really do. I love this show. I love You, and I think I wanted to, it's the thing is once you realize you like TV shows, you want it to end and be contained as a masterpiece. As a huge How I Met Your Mother fan, how disappointed I am. So they made this season a whodunit kind of episode. Basically, and basically the same shit happens for Joe everywhere he is. So Joe meets new people who force friendship upon him, which I have given that advice, but maybe try to get to know people more. Don't just let people be mysteries. Okay, sometimes mysteries need to be solved. If you've watched any Scooby-Doo, not Velma, I've not watched Velma, I'm not going to watch Velma. Okay, I'm okay with changing races, but I feel like Shaggy, that's too much for me, Changing Shaggy's race, that was too much, Change Ariel's race, fine. You know how much I love redheads. I love redheads a lot. But, you change Shaggy's race, that's a problem. So, yeah, basically, let's go back to the show You. Joe gets unintentionally friendshipped with a bunch of people. Then, the guy he was friends with who got him in, his apartment, too. So it's kind of I need to be friends with this guy. He got me a nice place in London. First of all, this is his 4th fucking city. He had his 4th fucking city. So basically, I think the beginning of the season, his friend he had, the one who got him the apartment that Joe was probably I'm not going to kill this guy, was found stabbed on his table. And Joe got rid of the body, because Joe's built different.
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
He was built different. He's I know how to get rid of a body. And then the guy who was framing him caught on to that, and so he made a more elaborate plan. So these are thrillers, whodunits, and I fucking love mysteries. Y'all know Harry Potter's my shit, but I really love a good one when it makes you not think of what the actual answer is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I bet some people are looking back now. They will call me a skeptic, a simp, a thought, a dumbass. But I will tell you this: when I watched The Good Place for the first time, I didn't realize they were in the bad place. I just thought shenanigans was going on. And I was this is the bad place. That was a good twist, because that's a good twist I didn't see coming. But it's kind of like when I watch shows like these whodunit shows, I do, and I've watched a lot of these, and I think I'm just kind of stupid, and I enjoy the twist every time. And, you know, sometimes the twist they don't see coming, and they do a good job with that. But this guy was kind of like, he was there, and then he wasn't there, and he was there again. If you watch it, it's like 5 episodes. You'll finish it. You'll fucking finish. It's Penn Badgley. Ladies, if you're listening to this, you see Penn Badgley, you're going to be fucking watching this show. I guarantee you're not worried about that. But anyways, though, I was kind of like, because I like to, like, you know, make my first guess. I'm like, it's never the person you think it is, because the person you think it is at first is the next victim. And, you know, when you're not the killer, it's okay to wait for the next victim, unless it's you. But then it's like, yeah, this guy, he's kind of outside of it all, kind of like Joe too. And it's, it's very interesting. Like, he hacks into his phone, and shit like that, like leaves him messages and shit like that. I'm like, man, how fast I would fucking... I've been watching, like, The Last of Us too. I'm like, that's like a weird one, because like when you get to like the current day, it's kind of like, hey, just don't get infected. And if you haven't got infected by that point, it's like, you're good. I'll just do things that don't get me infected. You know, I have not had COVID, knock, knock. And I want to keep it that way. See if I just don't have... Maybe I could actually be immune to COVID, because I have shared joints with people who probably have COVID, and I just got lucky, or I'm built different, you know. I'm built different, but in the meantime,
Got it.
that's what you guys, what y'all getting, this shit. So like that. So yeah, I saw the twist at the end. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil the end of the 5 episodes, but if you're smoking and you see it, you'll guess it too. Like, if you're into whodunits like me, you'll be like, that's not that interesting. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, you're not like shocked, but you're like, that makes sense. You know, that's how it is. I'm like, I love to be shocked by that shit, because I have been shocked by shit before. Only Murders in the Building. I wasn't shocked, but I didn't guess it either. It's always, yeah, what did I guess with that season? I was thinking there's Michael Rappaport's character involved, but then, never mind though. But, yeah, no. Anyways, though, so this is like the first part of 2 seasons, which I loved how they did it with Stranger Things. Stranger Things is such a great show, and, you know, and I've been watching it since season 1, and I haven't spoiled, you know, I once, story time, season 2 came out, I watched every episode, then left, like, what happened in the episode as a status on my Facebook. I lost a lot of Facebook friends that day, and a lot of college friends unfriended me on Facebook, which fucking sucks for you, because I could have hired you one day, but I don't know, I'm not friends with you on Facebook anymore, so it sucks to be you. So yeah, no, it was cool Stranger Things, you know, the current season, and yeah, I'm kind of curious, you know, with how they settled it. I want to see how it ends, though, but I don't think I'm going to give a shit as much as the ending, just considering how they set up this killer, because I guess the first part was setting up who this killer is. There's some interesting tactics on, like, why they're using Joe for his specific needs, but after that, like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to think, though, because Joe literally, like, has no, like, he just falls in love with a bitch, but, like, he's pretty quick to lose that connection with them. So it's just like, Joe could just literally just run away, but this guy also seems like he has contacts, so curious how this will end.
Man proposes and God disposes.
I'm wondering if this will be another season of You or not, but I feel like, what is a good conclusion for the show You? Would it be Joe Goldberg going to jail, or Joe Goldberg dying, or Joe Goldberg just, like, being human? Like, that's an interesting question. How do you think it should end? That's a good question. It's Valentine's Day, so I thought, hey, I should be recording some Valentine's Day content. So let us begin by going over what the fuck BuzzFeed has in store for me, a single man, almost 30, who has no plans in the near future for settling down. So let's see what's going on. Fuck no, let's fucking let me read the. Don't read the picture. You got to read the words. It's a BuzzFeed article. Prepare some romantic meals to discover when you'll meet your true love. Let's play now. All right, what's for breakfast? We got heart-shaped waffles, berry pancakes, coffee with a foam heart, jam toast, eggs, donuts. Okay, so first of all, my breakfasts. I don't know how you want to say them. They are always coffee, and with a foam heart is I don't do latte art, and I don't make lattes because lattes have sugar in them, and you gotta not be consuming much sugar. Be healthy like me, a referee. But yeah, no, coffee's my breakfast, and like actual coffee, not like a coffee with a foam heart. That's a cappuccino. No, it's not a cappuccino because the cappuccino would be more foam. That's a latte with a foam heart made for it. So it's like donuts. Yeah, you just bought those somewhere. No one makes homemade donuts. Like, think about that. No one makes homemade donuts. Eggs should be like eggs and bacon, and this is eggs and bacon in this, and like that should be your like everyday. That's what you eat every day. That's what you should be eating every day. Probably not bacon, but if you're into eggs, I don't like eating eggs. I don't know. I think I had bad scrambled eggs when I was a kid, and I have weird eating problems. And yeah, eggs is what normal people should be eating. Berry pancakes. If your partner likes berry pancakes. Like, I just recently learned my mom, like, prefers pies over cake, and I've been making her cakes for her birthdays forever, and I'm like, I'll make you a pie this year. I'm like, why would I not make you pie if you prefer pie over cake, Anyways, though, we're going with the heart-shaped waffles, because that's romantic as fuck, and they look like they're from fucking Waffle House. All right, lunchtime. Think about our lunchtime meal, folks. We got berries, a heart sandwich, salad, ramen, chips and dip, and watermelon. Okay. So I'm going to just eliminate all of these because I have a passion in my heart. Berries, that's not a fucking lunch. That's fucking, you're going on a hike. Okay. That's berries. Okay. Sometimes there's good berries, but not. Heart sandwich. I don't like Panera. Panera's a ripoff. The only person in the world that really actually enjoys it is my brother. People like him. And that's not like, it's questioned if I should breed. I just want to say that. Ramen, like, that's a fucking that's less than like $2. You buy a big old fucking box of it. Like, that's how you live. That's how you be poor, folks. That's how you be poor. You're not going to be fucking poor for your soulmate. You don't act poor for your soulmate. They get married, then they know you're poor. Chips and dip, that's the fucking best one. That's probably the best one. The other one's watermelon. That's a fucking fruit dessert. It's not sure. Like, if she really likes watermelon, go for the watermelon. If not, chips and dip. Fucking cheese, deep fried chips, salt, I want chips and dip, folks. What do you want for dinner? We got lasagna, French onion soup, pasta, ravioli, steak, and a heart pizza. Now, why does part of me feel like I'm the one making this dinner? Oh yeah, I fucking hate French onion soup. Fuck that shit. Pasta, depends on what the pasta's mixed with. You can't just be like, we're eating pasta. I'm like, well, is there a sauce or whatever? Marinara. Are we eating spaghetti? Like, okay, we have a problem there. Like there is a legit problem. Ravioli. Good questions there. Is it Chef Boyardee? Is it Valentine? Is it Valentine's Day? And are you literally making Chef Boyardee for your significant other? Change directions of your life. Steak, no, that's a good one, but I that's the thing, though. What do you want for dinner? That's the question. We got heart pizza. Now, Schweezy's 5-cheese lasagna could be 4. I can add as many cheeses. I'll make it an 8-cheese lasagna if you don't shut the fuck up. Is famous, but that means me making dinner. But like going out though, it would go between a steak and a pizza. And do I like steak more than pizza? No, I fucking love pizza more than steak. And I like steak. I love steak. And you know what? When I'm on a low-carb diet, I will always go for steak. But in this instance, I'm going with the heart pizza. Choose a treat to end the day. Lava cake, conversation hearts, red velvet cupcakes, eclairs, chocolates, strawberry shortcake. Okay, so thinking of this situation, first of all, the conversation hearts. I've never tasted a good one of those. I guess they're marshmallows now, but they were like, when I was a kid, they were like a chalky type of candy, you know? And like, you only took a certain amount of chalky type of candy before you're like, I want real candy. So conversation hearts are out. Eclairs, that's the fucking shit that George Costanza eats out of a trash can. We're not going with fucking eclairs either. Chocolates, yeah, you just had that fucking laying around or whatever. You're like, yeah, you want some chocolate? I got it from work, you know, it was a fucking work bonus. So the real options in this are lava cake, red velvet cupcakes, and strawberry shortcake. And the strawberry shortcake looks bought, so we're going to go no from that, even though I probably said it wrong. We're going to go with that. Red velvet cupcakes and lava cakes. Now, I'm going to say here, you're with your honeys. You're taking her on a romantic evening. You take her to Applebee's, obviously. Like, you're not taking her anywhere else. You're clearly taking her to Applebee's. And you get her the lava cake. And the lava cake is what wins you over. And that's why you get a very sad hand job. That's what happens to you. So you're going with the lava cake. All right, here we go. Wait, you can't end the day without a drink. You figured it out. You didn't know I didn't have any problems before this. You knew. So we got wine. Okay, we got a cocktail. We got just water for me, champagne, coffee, and a milkshake. First of all, it's too late for coffee. We all know that. When women are like, you want to come up to my place for a cup of coffee? I'm like, it's 2 a.m. No, I don't want a fucking cup of coffee. Like, if you're trying to have sex with me, don't go for cup of coffee, because that one won't work. George Costanza even also said it best. Second time. He'd be like, if I drink coffee, I'll be up all night. You know, that's why you don't offer coffee. Milkshake, are you fucking 12? Are you fucking 12? If 12-year-olds had houses, but they also like couldn't buy alcohol till 21, they'd be like, you want to come over to my house for a milkshake? That's what they'd fucking say. And so we're not going with a milkshake either. Champagne, this is the fucking New Year's Eve. Just water for me. Are you fucking just boring? That's the word, boring. So it's like a cocktail, wine, champagne. I guess champagne would be considered. I go with wine because I would say women like wine. I like wine, dude. Fucking a guy's like, I don't like wine. Shut the fuck up. Fragile masculinity comes in the form of men who say they don't like wine. We all like wine. It's just fucking fruit juice. Sometimes a little sour than you remember, but you can shut the fuck up. That's also what you can do. So we're all going with wine. You're a fucking adult. Bonus question, pick a cute animal to cuddle with. Dog, cat, chinchilla, just a teddy bear, rabbit, and guinea pig. First of all, the only cuddly alive things that are worth cuddling with are the dog and the cat. The cat is 50-50. We don't know if it'll cuddle with you. But there is nothing better than coming home. You know, you're high, you're drunk out of your mind. You're just like in the right mental space. And you see an animal, it's the fucking best. And dogs are the best because they'll come to you and want you at first. And they'll regret it, but they won't move. So that's why we pick dogs. What's calculating the results? Let's see what's going on here. We're going to meet our fucking match on Valentine's Day. So I'm fucking excited. That's tomorrow. The day this comes live will become true. And next week, if I talk about getting a girlfriend, then it's real. And if it's not real, BuzzFeed, it's a bunch of crocs. So that's that. We also got, tell me how you really, that's how they spelled it. I'm just reading what I heard. It's a lot of E's. Really feel about Valentine's Day. Okay. I'll tell you how I really feel. I've told you all already that I don't base my personality or my life successes on meeting a woman. And now I'm going to answer a BuzzFeed quiz. Fucking BuzzFeed's quiz about it. Tell me how you really feel about Valentine's Day. Chocolate or flowers? First of all, I'm a man. Fuck flowers. I don't give a shit. I really, I'll understand, like, why do women not want sex from their husband? I'm like, I'll get that. Why do women like flowers? Like, I don't fucking know. I can't figure it out. So I'm going with chocolate. Let's see what's here. We got 55% chocolate, 45% flowers. So more men are on BuzzFeed than women. That's a good, that's a weird answer. Maybe I should get off this website. All right, choose one. Okay, I'll choose one. Jewelry or stuffed animals? Jewelry or stuffed animals? Why is this a fucking thing? Okay, I'm going to tell ladies, if you're really into stuffed animals and a guy offers you the option between choosing between stuffed animals or jewelry, still pick the jewelry because you can sell the jewelry and buy a lot more stuffed animals. So we're going with jewelry for obvious reasons, okay? 60%, 40% stuffed animals. That's also a big question here, folks. How dumb are people with money? All right, choose one, Valentines or Galentines. Now, a Valentine's Day would be me with someone I love. Galentine's Day would be me going out for lunch with a bunch of friends who are women, who I am also not attracted to. Fatter women tend to celebrate Galentine's Day. So if I'm going to choose between Galentine's Day, hanging out with a bunch of fat chicks, or Valentine's Day, hanging out with a woman who will definitely have sex with me, we're going with Valentine's Day. That is for sure. Which would you rather do on V-Day? I hope that has nothing to do with World War II. I hope we're talking V-Day means Valentine's Day. Stay in or go out? Okay, that's a good question. Because you think going out would be the best option. You think what you want to do, shit like that. But it's so my initial answer would be go out. But the idea of going out would mean that there's hey, maybe there's a thing going on that we can go to and shit like that, and we can have fun and do something like that. Go out. If that's the case, yes, go out is my answer. However, if it's go out, we're going to go to a restaurant and we're going to eat a meal and we're going to spend money, we're going to kind of look nice, and then we're going to go home. No, I don't want to do that. But if it's a go out, it's every Valentine's Day, this place does this, and shit like that. And it's a cool event. Yeah, let's do that. But if it's have a fancy meal and shit like that, I'd rather stay in. But then you have kids and shit like that. Valentine's Day, I'm do Valentine's Day, not on Valentine's Day. That's a life hack for you. If you want to have a romantic evening, do it any other day of the week or any other day of the year but Valentine's Day. That's my option. I would rather just stay in. If it's going to be a nice meal, I'd rather make it. But if it's a, go out to, but if it's, go out to dinner thing, yeah, so stay in. That's my answer. 63% stay in. I think there's a lot of guys doing these. I think there's more guys on BuzzFeed than women. Oh, that's the scary part. Choose one, pink or red. I've been liking Machine Gun Kelly's guitars, because they're the first guitar since a Very Good Tom DeLonge guitar that's only had a pickup in the bridge. So, I'm going to go with pink today. I could have changed it to red another day, but we're going with pink today. Pink 49, red 51. Well, they're pretty close color, shit like that. It's fun. And my mom hated me. I had a shirt. I wanted a pink shirt when I was a kid. No. I eventually got a pink shirt, but it was 10 reasons why tough guys wear pink. One of them shirts and shit like that. Paris or Florence? Paris, Texas or Florence, Texas? You pick Paris, Missouri or Florence, Missouri. You pick the two. I'm just going to pick Paris just because... I don't really give a shit. Choose one, hearts, arrows. We're going with hearts. Why would you not want to go with hearts? Choose a type of chocolate. I like milk chocolate, and everyone's like, milk chocolate is ass. I'm like, but I'm trash, and you're apparently not trash. Dark chocolate does not taste good unless you put a lot of sugar in it. That's just the truth. Dark chocolate does not taste good, and they're like, it does taste good. It tastes. I'm like, I'm tasting more sugar than chocolate. So, milk chocolate, here we go. Someone's going to debate me in the fucking comments, I know. Do you really like Valentine's Day? A past me would say, ew, no. I would never say yas. Fuck that. I'm more an IDK or it's okay. So what am I feeling right now? It's like, how's my love life? Let's talk about my love life. It's Valentine's Day. Y'all stuck through this. Y'all get to see how I want to spend this. How's my love life? I mean, it's going nowhere, but it's also, I don't feel desperate. I feel good by myself, and it's like I don't need a partner to make me feel good, and I don't need to wait on someone or whatever. I don't feel like a damsel in distress or whatever, or that I'm like desperately running out of time or whatever. I'm like, if I meet someone, I meet someone. If I don't, I don't. Divorce is expensive too. Weddings are expensive. Divorce. How do I feel? I'm like, do you like Valentine's Day? It's okay. Gives me something to talk about on a podcast and other days. So, anyways, that's that. Are you excited? Did that motivate you in any way? Did that make you excited? Did it? Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It is 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button, and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Oh no! Our table!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next segment called Oh No, Our Table, the part of the podcast that was formerly called Ask Schweezy, but is now the part of the podcast where I answer questions that you have had, that you will have, and what you will discover there as well. So, anyways, let's get right into it. Let's go full throttle.
Let's just jump into it.
Do I have,
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
which one's this?
Let's go full throttle.
Yeah, we go. Let's go full.
Let's go full throttle.
All right, first question we got here. Sent by, we don't do the names here on the show. Can I suck my own dick?
What?
So you're questioning whether or not if I give you some advice, just trying to understand here the question that you're coming to me for advice on how to suck your own dick. Folks, first of all, I don't know if you looked at me. I am not feeling good about my body right now. Do need to do some more work. That is up there. So yeah, can I suck my? No, I'm too fat to suck my own dick. First of all, so if you're asking me, can I suck my own dick? No, I cannot suck my own dick. And I'm gonna guess most people don't do. The last I've heard about it, Joe Rogan said he was flexible enough to be able to suck your own dick. Now, I'm a big believer in this, in saying that, in the idea of like wanting to know, the idea of sucking your own dick. I genuinely think, though, if you're thinking about that, you're given a blowjob. You're not receiving a blowjob. You think, because like you jerk yourself off and like, yeah, I'm pleasuring myself. But like, if you're sucking your own dick, is that pleasuring? I mean, technically, yes, you are pleasuring yourself, but it's at a point, like, it's me giving a hand job. See, I can give a hand job to myself. That's fine. I think I can give a hand job. I think giving myself a blowjob is different because the hand job is to myself. And the blowjob, I'm still sucking a dick. You know, I'm like, if I will jerk a guy off. Depending on where I live, I will do it for 2 months rent. I probably could just jerk a guy off for 2 months rent. You know, it's your hand. I'm like, it's big. Like it's in your hand. You know, it's just like, you know, it's not that hard. But anyways, though, yeah, I think, well, you know, back in my day, there was the rumor Marilyn Manson removed his spine. He removed his ribs so he could suck his dick. It had to be his rib cage. It's not your spine. You can't live without your spine. I think it was both, you know. I could try to look it up here. Marilyn Manson removed his ribs. It was his rib. It was not his fucking spine. Why did I think it was his spine? Anyways, though, I don't know about removing your rib cages, but, you know, honestly, I do think, you know, I think I've seen a guy suck his own dick before. Yeah, I've seen a guy suck his own dick. I've seen those heavy videos. Don't fucking try to fucking talk to me about things. You're listening to me right now. This show is me having an argument with someone who can't argue back. That's what this fucking show is. Can you suck your own dick? Yeah, you got to get really flexible. You got to really understand your body. But at the same time, remember, do you like sucking dick? You know? Do you like sucking dick? Because that's all you're doing. You're giving oral sex. You're not receiving oral sex. I think the hand job's nice because you receive an orgasm, but you're also touching a dick. I think that's a better equal compromise, if we're going to be honest. So, here we go. We're back at it again.
What?
What is a I mean, I got to read the question right. I can't be like, I'm asking the question. What is a Discord kitten?
What?
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
Feel like a woman, a real woman.
I'm just fucking. I feel like this is. I'm at a point, and I think the real sad point about how we've gone to this segment of this podcast, episode 113, right? 113 episodes in, we're finally getting to this point where we have to admit, I'm like, I want to be hip with the kids, but at the same time, that evolution is getting too fast for me. And I'm just keeping up with internet memes at this point. But I know what a Discord but you know what I'm trying to say here. I can't keep up. anymore. I can't keep up anymore. Discord Kitten. So, I mean, if we're going to talk to my friends I play video games with, I consider myself the Discord mod, even though I'm not even like the mod of the group of us gamers, you know. But I call everyone, every time I hear that Discord button, like that log on, like, ew, hey kitten. You know, I'm always saying hey kitten. Because I want to keep my Discord mod status. And what is a Discord mod, you may? You know that guy who like seems like he has something going on in his life, but it's also like he's got something going on, but I don't think he's making money off anything, you know? That's what a Discord mod is, but it's also a more sad life. It's worse than that. You're like, this guy, you know, is coming around. It's like, kind of sounds like, it's starting to sound like me. I'm going to be honest with you. He just hangs around, just listens to everyone tell stories and talks about it to the internet. Well, a proper definition. So there's the two genders. So let's remember the two genders. We got the Discord kitten, and we got the Discord mod. Now, is there like more kittens to a pack than mods, or vice versa? I feel of genuine kittens, of the kittens we're talking about. Mods are men, kittens are women, but there's probably a lot of people who could be mods under the category of kitten, if you know what I mean. But we're not here to judge. We're not here to judge or anything. But anyways, a kitten should be a woman, and a Discord mod should be a guy. And a kitten would be like, ew, hey Discord mod, or versus their name. Can I have Discord Nitro? Ew. You know, shit like that. It's like, oh, kitten, you can have some, you know, shit like that. And Discord Nitro, like, is like the paid service for Discord, but I don't know what I can actually do with it. Shit like that. So it was always a creepy guy with a weird younger girl, but it's that concept, but it's like the internet, and we don't know who's who. You know, it's mostly grown older men. I think that's like the weird, you know, like you have your older cousin, uncle, brother type thing, who is like that weird guy, you know. And I know I'm becoming that, but also it's like that guy's probably a Discord mod, but he's like younger than us millennials, so we got to keep it. We got to keep the shit there. Do you think people will abandon smartphones like the way millennials abandoned cable TV? I haven't had cable since 2005, moved out of my parents' house on my own, and didn't want ads and pay for cable TV. I am now feeling similar about smartphones. I am wondering if a new generation of adults will do the same. But with smartphones, I am considering getting one of those light phones or whatever they're called. I don't think my life is better with all this tech at my fingertips. Thoughts? Okay. So first thing I want to tell you is the alternate phone. You can do that with your regular phone. Like the iPhone. The iPhone is fucking great. The iPhone is a great phone. I'm not shipped by Apple or anything. There's not a lot of better, you know, like all iPhones are good. And even like and you're like, why is your iPhone bad? The question, it's really old. Like that's the, you know, like they can't keep up with the updates anymore. But yeah, no. This does seem like a 90s thing, because I think I was legit at the tail end of like getting cable. And I had cable for a minute because it was better with my internet plan, you know? But like, yeah, for a while I was like, yeah, nope, no cable for us. I think I was, you know, that's when I moved into my college apartment in 2013 and shit like that. And we just didn't have cable. That's when I stopped, because I was like, you know, because Netflix just became a thing, and like, you know, and you know, the beginning of like the cut the cord situation, people don't remember. The whole cut the cord situation was that it was just Netflix and maybe you had Hulu. And people didn't like Hulu because it had ads. And then why would I play in like, if you played for like Hulu Plus had ads. And like people did not like, why would I pay for services if it has ads, and shit like that. And it's so crazy how we went from that. And it was like crazy. I remember that because I had Hulu with ads. Why I was into Hulu at the beginning. I love the Mindy Project. Like that was like the earliest shows. Now, like if you don't have Hulu, it's like Hulu's like, yeah, it's Disney Plus if you want raunchier stuff, shit like that. And my mom, she still has cable and stuff like that. After and honestly, she's been trying to think about like downsizing. All she wants is the Hallmark Channel. Like that's legit. All she wants is the Hallmark Channel. So yeah, and we're talking about like cutting the cord and shit like that. Yeah, you talk about that. Then you realize, like, I don't need, like, fucking a million channels. I'm like, I just want to watch the shows I want to watch. And then you figure that out and shit like that. But here's the question. Will we abandon smartphones the way millennials abandon cable TV? Because in our mind, it was like, and that was, like, legit. We talk about, like, the era of cable TV coming to an end. It was very much like, because, now we have like Mandalorian, we have a Marvel show every week and stuff like that. But there was like a period, it was just like, we dropped the entire season one day and you can finish it in about 10 hours. And now you know about that. Have fun waiting 2 years for the next part. So we had that, as well. So it's different. The only thing I can think about abandoning smartphones, because like smartphones are like everything we do now. Where cable TV back then, it was like, well, it was part of like, oh, you got the news and you got like your weather for the day. So that's what you had your TV for or your radio for, because you had to have that to like know the radio. Like everyone today is just like, it's really funny like thinking about it, because I'm just like, what's the weather? I'm like, I don't know, I'll just look at it on my phone, But like you think about like my parents and like people older than my parents and people like that, and even people, before the smartphone or the Weather Channel existed, like how did they know the weather? They actually had to listen to someone. It was the craziest fucking shit. Now we're just like, I got it figured out. So yeah, but like smartphones, like it's weird because smartphones did so much, because you have smartphones. Okay, they replaced cable TV. You could say smartphones replace cable TV and how we view things. So we got that. Social media, there's multiple social media sites, and we use it through our phone. So it's going to be a device that maybe like it's just in our heads to begin with, and how people are going to do that now. So do you think people will abandon cable TV like, wait, I'm going to read the question correctly. Do you think people will abandon smartphones like the way millennials abandoned cable TV? Only if the proper technology comes into existence. Because the smartphone does a lot of things. And even then we need other things that our smartphones don't. Like, yeah, I have Netflix on my phone, but is that my necessarily viewing pleasure? No. So the technology has to catch up with it, but as long as the technology catches up with it, yeah. We have a reason to replace our smartphones like we abandon cable TV. That's no problem at all. Woo! Okay, that's a burp. Why do many poor working class people vote against their interests? I would be very interested to hear legitimate answers. How do poor and entry-level job people end up voting for politicians and or parties that center to the rich? I mean, there's a couple interesting, I've been living in Missouri, Kansas, and Tennessee. I've lived in all those, and it's like red states, and I've generally voted blue. And I'm sorry for you people who I'm hanging out with friends who are like, he's a Democrat. I'm like, I'm not like, I don't like their shit, but I don't like want to deal with fucking racists and, and fascist the fascist bullshit, So yeah, it's very interesting because I'm like, because Kentucky exactly, but Missouri's 50-50, Kansas flip-flops. And like you can't get an abortion in Missouri, but you can buy weed in Missouri, but you can get an abortion in Kansas, but you can't buy weed in Kansas. So it's like, why are every state I'm from, fucking suck? And shit like that. So yeah, we're talking about like voting against their interests and shit like that. So it goes back a long way. So you have people, so you have like the blue collar working people who like go to jobs and shit like that. I do know that there's one story where it's like, I guess a lot of Mexicans, you know, they migrated to the United States, and some, you know, if unreal actual labor laws, it was like they're working the jobs cheaper because in Mexico it's more money. So it's them running back to Mexico to help their family and shit like that. And so people, you know, I'm just, you know, reviewing South Park politics and shit like that. And so white Americans were like, hey, they're taking our jobs. And the reason why they got our jobs because they'll do them cheaper than we can in the United States and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And so Republicans, you know, take control of that. But it's also like, you know, I think a couple years ago, I want to say 2019, there was like a bunch of raids where a bunch of people at factories got deported, but like their kids came home from school and like they didn't know where their parents are, you know, shit like that. And you know, there's one thing to think like, hey, they were here illegally. They shouldn't have been here. They shouldn't have done that. Like, there's something to think about, like, there, you know? Like, oh, these are just people. They're not real people, you know? They're like peanuts or whatever, and we got to send them back to their country. But at the same time, the people who hire them aren't, aren't taking any criticism or aren't getting arrested and shit like that. And I was so, like, questioning, like, are they not getting in trouble? Like, you know, like the white people who hired all the illegal immigrants, because like I've applied for jobs and like, are you legally allowed to work in America? It's on every job application. You know, it's like, are you legally allowed? I'm like, I was born here. I'm like, yeah, I can. Yeah. You know, that's how it is. And so, you know, like, oh, you're not legally allowed? Let's pay you under the table. I'm like, that's pretty fucking illegal. So yeah, that, you know, that gets a lot of people voting against that, you know, where Democrats are like, hey, we were going to tax rich people and bring it back to the people. But then the rich people are like, they're going to take money away from you because you're rich. And you're like, I'm poverty, but I'm rich, you know, and then they take it away from you. And then they think trickle down. It's like, hey, if you let the rich people have all the taxes, we're just going to give it back to you, you know. It's like, oh, so you can either get the actual amount of money back to you or let someone else promise it to you, you know. It's different things. So, like, you know, it's very much just tricking people into thinking that. And, like, there's so much interest and, you know, there's the whole racism, and people in the South tend to support racism. A lot of clans in the South. And so if you get someone who's like, I don't like brown people, you know, that's how you get people against that. But I'm going to make you poor sons of bitches pay more taxes. So it never really makes sense in the end. To be honest with you, they'll vote against their common interest for like a passionate belief, especially like racism, Christianity. Somehow both of those intertwine. That's very interesting. Both of those intertwine very much perfectly, and
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
it's perfect. Do men not want women over 30? I watched some video where someone was 30 and venting because she is single, no career, etc. And the comments were really mean, saying she hit the wall or ranting about how feminism destroyed women. Someone even called her an old hag. What the fuck? That's WTF. Surely they are trolls, right? I was really shocked and disturbed by the comments. Should women 30 plus just throw in the towel? Apparently we are old hags. I'm not going to say old hags. I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. This is early 20s, maybe even before, maybe about when I was illegal, I thought this way. But to be honest with you, I always thought like women in their 30s, that's like my age range. It's like, they're not perfect or whatever. I don't know. I like that shit. So I'm not going to say men not want women over 30s. I do think so over 30s, because the age isn't, you know, with men, age isn't really, that's a bad sentence, but like age isn't really a number. If you're R. Kelly, you really agree to that statement, what I just said. But, you know, like the age isn't really like, you're attracted to a woman and she's like, I'm 35. You're not like, oh, you're not fucking Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. You're like, yeah, I'm still down to fuck. It's not a big deal. Like, you're still gonna be doing that shit. Like, you shouldn't be afraid to be talking about that. So the age number is not the part I think men are worried about. When guys hear, I guess, like, oh, I'm over 30, here's what they think about. It's not the age part. It's not even how you look. It's the how much have you been around part. Because, I don't necessarily care anymore about, it's like, I don't even think, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, let's just not know each other's body counts. You know what? Let's just like pretend none of that existed. I also have to recant that in case I do get a girlfriend and we do a podcast together. That way we don't have to do that shit anymore. That way we can just like lie and talk about our sexual misconducts. But yeah, no, I don't think it's the 30 part. It's the idea of like, I'm 30 and you're 30. What sexcapades did I have, and then what sexcapades do you have? And it's the old argument of was it a key that opens a lot of locks is a good key, but a lock that's been opened by a lot of keys is a bad lock. And women aren't locks, fellas. They're good people. I think the idea of like women over 30, I don't know. Let's talk about the age range. If you're in your 20s and you're like, I don't want a woman over 30. You just want someone around your age. If you're 30 and you're like, if you're in your 30s, like 35, and you're like, I don't want a woman in her 30s. You're like, oh, I want a woman who doesn't realize I was out of my prime when I was in high school and shit like that. It's like, I'm good now, I have money, and shit like that. So when guys get in their 30s, they're like, if I have a lot of money, I deserve a hot chick. And if she's in her 30s and has 3 kids, and she's like, I wish they were your kids, but they're not, it's not going to be that way. And then, 40s, and it gets weirder and weirder from there. So it's not necessarily, ladies, that you're 30. It's the, EXP bar that comes with all that shit. So take it easy.
This is the type of guy you get.
When do you know your sexual identity? Can you discover it later in life? Okay.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
When do you know your sexual identity? Can you discover it later in life? I just read the fucking title again. Sorry, folks. As in, can you be 30, 40, or 50 and suddenly discover you're gay, lesbian, etc.? Or is it something you felt or wondered your whole life? Like, can you suddenly discover you're accidentally gay? Actually gay? I read accidentally, it's actually fucking accidentally gay. Oh no! Actually gay. When you're 45 without any hints prior. Thank you for helping me learn. Okay.
I identify as a fucking
Just letting you know, I just fucking know the answer to this. I'm not a fucking veteran. Whatever the fuck you're trying to do. So sexuality, I think we have to really think about it this way. Me and my brother had the same things growing up, except my parents actually liked him. So, him coming out as gay was weird for me because I was always the kid they didn't like, and shouldn't the gay one be the one you don't like? And then they kind of didn't like him for a while, and then they remember they hated me, so they got back to it. So yeah, is being gay? It's not that big of a deal breaker. Sexual identity, though, let's talk about it. We're not going to talk about my life. We're going to talk about being gay in your 40s or 50s. So it's like you discover it. I don't know. I guess I was just blessed enough to like really overthink it, because I generally think, because it's like you feel like there's more gay people now than there were like a while ago. And I think there had to be something about it, like growing up and you're like, I kind of like men, but you're always kind of like, and a lot of, in a lot of neighborhoods and shit like that, you're just not exposed to like, oh, that's a same-sex couple. We don't like them, It's just like, I like men, but, like, a man is supposed to love a woman. And, when, like, you're growing up in that fucking lifestyle, it's weird. But now, like, we're, like, educated and we're like, yeah, gay people exist. Just, like, bring home a guy who doesn't fucking suck, You're like, yeah, you like a guy, but, like, guys don't suck that much. But then, like, you don't want your daughter to date a guy. So it's like, when your daughter's like, I like women, you're like, oh, thank God. But then, like, Then your son dates a guy and he's like, that guy's actually pretty cool, you know? Men are a surprise because like we're the worst and the best all at the same time. Identifying your sexual identity, it's like, well, you know, you have to think about it because if you're really sexually repressed, you're like, I'm gonna marry a woman, but I like really like guys deep down inside, and that's why you see all these people who are like cheating on their wives and shit like that. Because I never realized I'm like, I like both, or like they never really accepted they like both and like decided on marrying a woman. You're like, all right, no sex with men ever again. You know, not because I don't want to have sex with men, because I'm married to a woman and I don't want to cheat. You know, and shit like that. So it's, you know, it's different. Yeah, I guess when you talk about it that way too. So, yeah, I think it's just hard when you have a family. Like, if you're gay, if you're like, I actually like men, I'm not interested in women, but like you've been in a weird culture where it's like, oh yeah, just men like women, you know, oh, that's a woman, I'll date that woman. And you're like, I'm not really that into sex with her, you know, sex is just kind of a thing, you know, and it's like whatever. And then you're like, oh, a man just turned me on. Shit like that. We're like, oh shit, I'm married to this woman, you know. Anyways, though, that answered no one's question. Your sexual identity is good. Just try not to hurt people in the process. Figure that out without hurting people in the process. That's how it is.
Man proposes and God disposes.
Let's get to our last question. How do I bring my non-gamer girlfriend with no interest in gaming into the conversation? So you got a lot of questions here. So got a girl. She says she has no interest in gaming. Now there's a question. Does she? I'm assuming we're all at least young adults here. I'm a milder older adult than the young adults, but I'm gonna assume you're at least a younger adult. She's not interested in gaming. Did she have a brother? If she had a brother, her brother had to play fucking something. He had to be into fucking something at one point in life. So she played with her and shit like that. So see if there's anything there. I would say, you know, you probably, if this is the situation you walked into, just saying that, if she's a game, she's not a gamer. She's never been a gamer, but you want to get her into gaming, but she doesn't seem like she has an interest in it. So, I don't know what games you're usually into. My best guess, I would say Nintendo. I'm a big Nintendo fan, but like women like Nintendo games. Like, you know, like a woman, like, okay, fellas, we're going to make a woman, see if a woman wants to play Overwatch or if she wants to play Mario Odyssey. She's going to pick Mario Odyssey over fucking Overwatch. 1 or 2 any day. So you got to figure out games that, like, you know, an actual woman would want to play and shit like that. Do you only have one console, or like, are you a gamer or are you PC? Then you're going to have to get another system for her, you know, if you want to get into a game. It's good to get into a game like that. Smash Brothers is a good one. Mario Kart, women always, you know, women seem to like that game.
What?
Shit like that. Pokemon, women can play Pokemon. Like, they legit make it for 2 genders, like Pokemon. And so you probably can't go with the hard shooter games. Animal Crossing. If a woman doesn't like Animal Crossing, I'm actually concerned about her. Like, that's a mental health problem. So, yeah, I'd probably just throw her Nintendo's way, because I feel like Nintendo's going to know how to deal with that problem for you. But if you don't like Nintendo games, you're going to have to figure that shit fucking out. Regardless, though, that's the last episode. Not the last episode. We're ending this episode of TheSchweezy. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast.
I like that.
And make sure you check out more. Follow TheSchweezy on social media, at TheSchweezy, everywhere you get your social media. Music under Schweezy, everywhere you get your music. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Connect your Amazon Prime account and hit the subscribe instead of the free follow button. Patreon page to make a generous tip jar donation. And if you're on the audio platforms, go to our YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment on all your favorite highlights, share the highlights with all your friends, like the episodes. And if you're on the audio platforms, leave a review and give a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating. So, honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.